Good evening, everybody. It is 7:05, and well, we think it's not quite 7:05, but we're going with it. Today is October the 18th, 2023, and we are here for the Parks and Recs meeting. My name is Tracy McGraw, and I am the chairman of the committee. Maureen?
Merrimack Senior Citizen Representative. How's that?
Julie Poole, committee member.
My name is Rick Grenier, and I'm the MYA representative.
Laura Janes, member.
Matthew Brown, student representative.
And I'm Mackenzie Murphy. I'm the town council representative.
Naomi Halter, school board representative.
Heather Fairbanks, Parks and Rec Committee.
Phil Perezuski, member of the board.
Josh Toms, member.
And Matt Kasparis, Director of Parks and Recreation.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting? That it was my fault that they got sent late because I didn't get them to Matt timely. But has everyone had a chance to review them?
Yeah.
Does anyone have any changes that they'd like to make?
This is like the proofreader in me. The title says agenda, not minutes.
We do the best we can.
I know. I feel so bad every time I point it out.
No, I'm glad you do because I am a perfectionist as well. I copied the agenda.
I had a
and just
feeling
filled
it was
in.
it was the bones. Yes.
Yes. So, anyway, all right, we'll get that fixed. I'll try to make sure we don't do that next time. Any other issues, Laura?
Yeah, I was absent. I think I was excused, but absent's fine.
Okay. I'll put you down as excused.
Well, thank you.
Do I have you listed at the top?
No.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, any other changes? No? Okay. Do we have a motion to accept the meeting minutes from last month?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Thanks, Rick.
And I'll
Anyone
second.
September.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Got the count?
Can I vote?
Why don't you vote?
No, I wasn't there. I
Well,
wasn't
then no, you just abstain.
Yeah, abstained.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So you got the count?
Matt, what'd you count?
902, I think.
Okay.
Matthew's got it. Thank you.
Yeah, it is exactly. Perfect.
Okay. All right, so new business is going straight to Matt tonight.
Yep.
Review and discussion of the Parks and Recreation Department budget.
All right. I know you're just dying to hear all the things I have to say. I don't have a PowerPoint tonight. You know, we normally we get our instructions from the town manager like early October, so I was expecting to have the budget fully written at this point by this meeting, but we haven't gotten those instructions from him yet. We have a new finance director in town. He's still kind of feeling his way in the new job, and so he's like, I think next week I'll have it, but you know, so I can't. But what I want to do is we do have a lot of new members on this committee that weren't here a year ago, so we'll kind of talk about the various aspects of the budget and the things that I can tell you with what I know at this point. And so, again, particularly for those that are new, our budget falls into kind of three categories. We have our capital improvement funds, which we talked about at our August meeting. We have our kind of taxpayer side of the budget, and then we have our recreation revolving fund, which houses all of our programs. So again, we talked about the capital project improvement funds back in August because they had to be submitted back in July. We had submitted 4 new projects this year, plus one which had carried over from last year that wasn't funded last year. And I met with the town manager 2 weeks ago, and at this point, it looks like only one of our 5 this year is going to get moved forward for funding. They are, from what I hear, it sounds like a tough year financially. I think they're worried about obviously the tax rate jumping too high, so they're probably not going to have a whole lot of money for capital improvements this year. And so, what we had was the fixing up the Wasserman Park Road, repairing it, but also widening it, which has been a problem for 3 years now. The last piece of the Wasserman Park beach renovations, the skateboard park, athletic fields, irrigation on the football field, and then a small project that we had also put in that I don't know about yet is my park and rec pickup truck apparently is close to failing inspection, so probably won't pass next year. So that's technically on there for now. Again, we haven't seen final numbers yet from the town manager, but this is what I hear so far. So again, they're worried about a large jump in the tax rate and trying to kind of hedge against that this year. And with one of our obviously urgent priorities was athletic field development at Greenfield Farms, and doesn't sound like that is moving forward. I mean, it's an $800,000 project, and from what I gather, it sounds like it's a couple of years away at this point to do that. Now, with that said, I have had some conversations with John Calabro at MYA, and I believe they are planning on doing a citizens warrant article themselves, so then it would appear separately in the ballot, and voters would vote it up or down, yes or no, based on and I don't know that off the top of my head what that would do on the tax rate. It's like 3 cents per $100,000 project, I think. I don't know, but that's a big number. So, we'll be obviously talking more on that one in the coming months. The skateboard park, we were told last spring by the superintendent that we had 2 years to find a new home for the park. And, obviously a year plus ago, we had obviously identified our preferred location. And so I don't know if that's going to get funded this year or not. Again, we have 2 years to do something unless the school gives us a extension on that 2-year time frame. I don't know. Hold on one second. What I will say on that one is in talking to the skateboard manufacturing companies, they got about an 18-month lead time for new equipment. So, which is why we had put it in for this year. So I don't know. Yes, Tracy.
So I spoke with Pat. I cannot for the life of me remember the last name. She's with the zoning board
Okay.
with the town, and she had indicated that there was some discussion about not needing the area where the skate park is, that the skate park is going to be able to stay there, that they're using funding.
I don't know what the official word is. Like, the superintendent obviously told you something a couple of years ago, but what we were originally planning to do with that space, I know that we've moved the location for the building that we were going to put there.
My understanding, it's going to be
It's going to be where the Brentwood building was. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that would be good news then.
Yeah. But like I said, we've talked about it in a couple of meetings.
Yeah.
And it was going to be one of the things I said in my update but I don't know if when we go through the master plan, if we're going to have any other needs
Right.
for that space or not. But I do know that what was originally going to go there is not now going to go there.
And maybe maybe that has been conveyed to the town manager and he just hasn't told me that yet.
Well,
But-
and like I said, I don't know because the school board only just started talking about it. So I don't know if Mr. Olson has conveyed it to anyone yet. So
the superintendent had reached out to me back in, it was probably like April about it. Or it was like I was copied on an email to a teacher or something about wanting to do a class or something over there. And, oh, you got to talk to him, but they're going to be, I don't know. So that would be good news if it can stay. So
We'll see.
time will tell. So for the other 3 projects, the beach, the park road, and the irrigation, what I was told 2 weeks ago by the town manager was to pick one as our priority. As I said, we can keep kind of patching the road as we have been the last 2 years. And while irrigation would be nice, football actually isn't practicing over there this year. They're over at Gibson this year. And so at this point, we're looking at doing the final phase of beach renovation at Wasserman Park. At least that's my thinking. And part of that is, when we first got our permits to do that phase 1 of the beach, that right-hand side with the retaining wall and the perched beach setup, that was about a year and a half process. And we spent something like $4,000 in permits. Our permit expires in 2 years. And so if the hope is obviously we get funded this year for it, so that we can get it done before our 5-year permit expires, because otherwise we'd have to start over and it'd be another 2, 3, 4 years down the road. And so essentially what we'd be looking at is the left side of the beach, which is all tree roots and steep slope and whatnot. It would basically kind of do the same thing as this, except that we would build in accessible pathways in from the side, so it wouldn't be fully enclosed like the other side is now. You'd have direct access to the water that's fully accessible. We don't have to do beach dredging, so it's all just land work. But that's my thought process at this point of the projects that we have for the priority. Like I said, road would be nice to do. It kind of needs to be done, but I think this one's a little more time sensitive. So that's my thought process there. So that's where we are with capital at this point. Our taxpayer funded budget is a lot of things, and on that budget is things that I don't necessarily have control over. It's water, it's gas, it's electricity, it's health insurance, so forth and so on. 90% of that budget gets dictated to me by the finance director, who says, okay, this is what your rate is for this XYZ, and he fills in all the numbers for me. What is included in there is our kind of big events. So Halloween, the holiday parade, winter carnival, Easter, summer concerts, 4th of July, movies in the park. Those types of things are funded out of the taxpayer side of the budget. We do have a few employee positions that are paid out of that. One lifeguard is paid out from the taxpayer side, or sorry, 1.5 lifeguards, I should say. And then my part-time year-round maintainer, which if we can ever find one, then that's paid out of that side, that kind of thing. The biggest change we're looking on that side of things is, our movies in the park this year just didn't do well. We used to get 100, 150 people every time, and there were some years where we were doing 4 or 5 movies. This year we did 3, and we were averaging 45 people. And it's just kind of like, I don't know what the change was this year, but it just didn't feel worth it anymore. So I think we're going to do some exploring to either create a new event or do something else, We will also probably try to boost up our budget for summer concerts. Cost of bands goes up and every year, just like everything else does. And so it gets really hard to, you can only have so many $1,000 or $1,200 bands, which is kind of the going rate. And you got to kind of bear them with like $400 and $500 bands, and that gets harder and harder to find. So, so we'll see there. Like I said, things are still kind of up in the air on that. And then our revolving fund is obviously the last piece. As I said, revolving fund is where all of our programs are housed. We're doing 300 plus programs a year now. We do not get any taxpayer dollars for those programs, so they're all 100% self-supporting. Beyond that, above and beyond that, Hannah's position as camp and after school director, her entire salary and benefits come out of the revolving fund. So there's no taxpayer dollars there. And then the town also charges off to that fund. Usually it's around $60,000 a year for kind of HR's time, payroll's time, those things that we have to recoup above and beyond, particularly with summer camp, above and beyond the cost to run those programs, to give back to the taxpayers essentially. So I don't know what that number yet. That's one of the numbers that I'm waiting to hear from as what that's going to look like, and that'll kind of dictate where we go. I am anticipating, I'm actually meeting with my staff next week to kind of start figuring out, particularly camp after school, what are we going to charge? What is, how did the budget shake out? What are we going to have to, are we going to have to do an increase, which I think we are? What is that going to look like? And so we're kind of still vetting some of that stuff out too. So that's kind of the budget for the new people in a nutshell, but is there any questions? Okay. Easy enough. That was it on the budget for now.
That was short.
It was 2 pages.
I remember seeing the book opening up on some years and thinking, oh, we're going to be here a while.
Well, when in theory, when we get to the November meeting, this stuff will all be fully done, and then you'll have the actual budget, with all the numbers finalized and whatnot. So then we can kind of talk about specific changes in numbers and whatnot.
Okay, perfect.
Well,
All
thank you for doing all that. He's amazing.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah.
Quick question I've forgotten. The waterfront.
Yes.
What roughly what amount are we looking at for that?
$100,000.
Okay. Thank you. The initial one was much higher, right?
Well, the initial one was about 140, I think
okay.
is what it came out to. But we also dredged the lake on that side. This side we don't have to, so it's more just the shoreline
Yeah.
piece and building in the accessibility access.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Any other questions?
How is the use down there? This
tremendous.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people down there this week still.
yeah. Even with all the weather, don't forget.
Oh, yeah.
With the movies, it
Yeah.
wasn't very good weather this summer.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. So let's move on to the next one. Update from the dog park. I need a little input from you, Matt.
Yep.
Do you know when we're going to be ordering the chips?
Yes,
Okay. When would that be?
Tuesday. Well, they're coming Tuesday, and the reason they're coming Tuesday is because DPW ordered chips for Twin Bridge Park at the same time, so we got a bulk discount on the price, and so it saved us a little bit of money.
Okay, cool.
So we got more chips than what we could have afforded, and like I said, it was timing of all that. So we did get the donation that we had been expecting last month that hadn't come in yet.
Okay.
So once we pay the bill for the wood chips that are coming next week, then our revised balance will become $1,247.34.
All right, that's fantastic. That extra donation, that was one of the ones that comes in from Christine and the
Yes.
volunteer payment
Yes.
that comes from her employer,
Yes.
right? So anybody who's listening who would like to volunteer, who would like to donate, if you could speak with your employer, see if they'll have some kind of contribution, some kind of matching contribution, or if they'll just actually give you a donation that's credited for the volunteer hours that you actually do. Please check into it. This particular employee is able to get $500 based upon a certain number of volunteer hours, and it has been extremely helpful with trying to maintain the park for any of our expenses.
Yeah.
So anyone else listening who is not going to want to hear this, but we would love to have some help this weekend to maybe get some cleanup done before the chips get dropped. Once they're dropped, everything below them becomes part of next year's problem. And it would be a lot better if we didn't have a next year's problem before next year got here. So if anyone is wanting to come to the dog park this weekend, I know that Heather's been out there with friends and trying to recruit people, and hopefully you'll be able to get some more. We'll get some more people in there, help us clean things up. I will say that there is one issue. First of all, thank you to DPW. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for Parks and Recs for their help cleaning out the tall weeds in the dog park. And I don't mean to sound ungrateful in any way whatsoever, but I did pluck about 40 of those tiny little prickers off of my dog in the small dog park primarily. And I'm wondering if anybody has any suggestions, because clearly we needed it cut. But if anyone has suggestions on how to clean them up, besides running dogs through there and then picking them off the dogs, I'm open to the ideas.
Yeah, I'm open to suggestions. I mean, we've heard that. It's just like a month ago, I still don't have any staff, so and likely next week it'll be me out there raking the chips in, because, you know,
I would be out there helping, except by the time I get home, it's pitch black outside, and I believe I'm not allowed out there when it's dark. One thing that we were excited about a couple of weeks ago was that the ACO position was filled. That's the animal control officer. Apparently, he was coming by and saying hi to people, bringing dog treats, even getting to know the people that attend the dog park. He is no longer with us, so it is up for. The position is open again, and it's been posted. So if anyone out there, or you know anyone who is interested, my understanding was it was originally a part-time position, and I thought it still was, but I'm not
I think it
100%
is.
sure.
yeah, it's still
You-
part-time.
Go out to the Merrimack website. The police department usually has those listed out there. And an animal control officer it's extremely useful for the rest of the town, but as far as the dog park is concerned, it's great to have that as a first call before you call 911.
Yep.
Let's see. Otherwise, when you see the chips that come in next week, dogs love to play on them. I know they love to play on them. My dog loves to play on them. That's cool. But I will try to get to the shed and get a couple of rakes out. If you want to take some time and help spread the chips where they are, we'll do what we can to get some supplies out there for you. When you're finished with the supplies, either put them inside the main fence or put them over by the shed. But all your help would be very much appreciated. And I think that's it for the dog park.
That's it.
Oh, Heather?
Speaking with the cleanup, we're actually planning our cleanup on November 11th,
Okay.
10 to 12 noon, for cleanup before the snow and everything like that. So
Okay.
if there's a possible way for us to get supplies from the shed on that day as well.
Okay. So we're looking at extra dog bags. We don't have trash bags in there, but I can certainly bring trash bags to make it easier to bring out to the dumpsters.
I wasn't sure what was in the shed as far as rakes or any barrels or that kind of thing
Barrels? No.
for picking up.
No.
Okay.
It's it would be basically some heavy duty bag dragged around the park is what we've done before. And, literally use the bags as gloves almost, the little
We have someone who's donating gloves.
oh fantastic.
So.
I can give you gloves and bags, so that's fine.
Okay. As far as rakes and everything, that's great for the wood chips and everything, but we have to be careful that we're not raking the bathroom leftovers. It just basically into the same piles.
Oh, the mainly raking was for filling up the holes.
I'll leave out a couple shovels too, because I think we're gonna need those. Okay, so shovels and rakes, got it.
Was that November 11th?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you have a time, Heather?
10 a.m. to noontime.
Ah, typical puppy play date time. Okay. That's Veterans Day,
Yes,
right?
it is.
Okay. All right, perfect. Anyone else have any input on the dog park news? All right. So let's
Back to me.
back to Matt. Director's report, please.
All right. Yeah. So we'll start off. After school program is doing well. As I mentioned last month, we started off a little slower than expected, and that's been okay. But we've continued getting calls from the other schools, from people looking for care, and it's like, okay, how do we make this work? I can't afford another bus. I just can't. I mean, the buses are $200 a day. So I can't afford another bus. And we were talking to the bus company, and they're like, oh, well, your driver, before he picks you up, is coming from the high school. I said, well, do you think there'd be a way for us to expand to Mastercola if he's at the high school and then go to Thornton's Ferry? And they said, yeah, we could do that. So we've been talking to both schools. We've talked to the bus company. So we're moving forward with expansion to the second school. It officially went out last Tuesday. that we're now covering Mastercola and Thornton's Ferry. So basically, they pick up first at Mastercola. Hannah, my after-school director, meets the bus at the school and the kids, checks them in on the bus. They all ride together over to Thornton's Ferry. They pick up now second over there, and then obviously to the park from there. And we actually just yesterday picked up our first 2 registrations from Mastercola. So, so we're still lower than where I'd like to be. I'd like to see another 2 or 3 kids a day would really help us out. But if I got 10 more a day, that'd be even better. So, but we're making progress. So, we're just kind of getting the word out there. And like I said, hopefully people will keep seeing that and start signing up. It's a new program, so it will take a little bit of time. So, so that's good news there. As I mentioned earlier, the movie night was a couple of weeks ago on September 30th. We ended up with 45, which was our average for the year anyway. And I don't know. It was a nice night. It wasn't too buggy, but I don't know. Maybe the novelty's worn off. So we're kind of brainstorming next week about what we could do instead. And we'll see. And then last weekend we had our 4th annual Natticook Challenge 5K race. And, big thank you to all our volunteers. James was a little bit stressed. I was out of town at this conference / vacation, and we had a couple of volunteer no-shows. And so he was a little stressed, but it went well. The race was a 50% increase in size over last year. So we went from 70 to 120. Well, I don't know what the percentage is, but 70 to 125 runners this year. People seem to enjoy it. And although it was a tough course this year, if for anybody that ran it, I ran it the day before I left on my trip, and I was winded when I did it, but, it was a good race. And again, it's something different, not just the same old, and we're starting to we actually picked up a pack of runners from that drove all the way up from Connecticut to run this race. So that was kind of neat. So, bigger and better next year, we'll see, hopefully with more volunteers, but
Matt.
yeah.
So if anybody wants to see, please go out to the Parks and Recs site. You can see there's at least 170 pictures out there now.
Oh yeah.
I think I have probably another 40 more that I'm trying to figure out how to get to James. There's a few videos out there.
Yeah.
The CrossFit men that put the course together with James.
Yeah.
Showed us all how to get on the floating boards
The
that were out in the
paddleboards, yeah.
lake. And he thought he could get across it by just running across. And after the second step, he realized that wasn't going to work. And once he got out of the water, he decided to go ahead and belly crawl across the rest of it. It was a great. People had a great time with it.
Yeah.
But there were some really cool things on there that we didn't have before.
Yeah.
So
And James does a good job trying to kind of come up with new stuff every year. And so it's been nice. So that was good. Coming up next week, and I can't believe Halloween party is next week already, but Saturday, the October 28th, 12 to 3 at Wasserman Park. We currently have 27 businesses and community groups providing free games, crafts, other activities. We do have a couple of Merrimack nonprofits doing with food for sale. And so we are still taking registrations for any community groups that want to join us and run some sort of free activity over there up until Friday morning. And then Friday I'll start assigning everybody locations and figuring out the map and all that. As I mentioned last month, one of our new components for the event this year is a pumpkin derby race. So essentially you put wheels on a pumpkin and kind of like the old Cub Scout Pinewood Derbies where you just put it at the top of the hill and, you lift up the board and they just roll down and fastest one wins. So I've got 15 entries so far for this year's race. And so we'll see how that goes. Something new and different, but obviously the hill, I thought with the hills in Wasserman Park, it makes a nice ramp and we'll line the course with hay bales and so yeah, should be good. But with that said, if anybody's interested in helping at next week's event, Maureen and Tracy,
and Laura.
Hold on, Tracy. I do need help with the table, the judging for the the pumpkin race and as well as the costume contest. So if anybody else is interested, love to have you join us. It's a good time. As long as the weather is good, we should see 1,000 people plus at the event. We usually do. So, yeah.
I'll volunteer as well.
Great. It's fun. It is a good event.
It's not just the kids either.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We have adults that get dressed up too. On the playground, Kids Cove will be at Twin Bridge Park will be closed starting next Monday, October 23rd, and then it's going to be closed for the week. So Monday to Friday. This is to allow Public Works to do some much needed maintenance. Among the things that we're finally getting done is replacing the 2 slides that took us 8 months to get delivered from the manufacturer. They're going to be repairing or replacing some materials. There's a whole bunch of, I guess, tires that are kind of falling apart in there and attracting bees. And there's some splintered wood areas, and then obviously adding new playground surfacing. So they are expecting it to take the whole week. We've been told by MYA that baseball ends this week, which is why we waited till next week, figuring a lot less people in the park during the day next week. So, so that's the thought process. That it is we'll all get done next week, and then we'll be good to go there. Yes? Oh, you were yawning. Okay. Lastly, as I alluded to earlier, we're still looking for a part-time maintenance employee. It's been almost 3 months, and even though we're offering $19 an hour, I can't find anybody that wants to work 25 hours a week. The challenge is it has to be daytime because there's some stuff that I need, like weed whacking, done that they can't do at night because it's dark, and they can't do it at night because they can't be. We don't allow employees to use power tools when nobody else is around, So, so I need somebody daytime hours, a retiree, or anybody, and we're just not getting it so far. So, it's been kind of James and I pitching in here and there, usually like 4 or 5 hours at a time, about once or twice a week, just trying to get done what we can. But it is what it is. So, so there's that. And then the other position we're looking for is somebody part-time kind of on call to cover our function hall rentals. We get 2 to 3 rentals a month. Usually it's a Saturday or a Sunday. It could be a birthday party. It could be a wedding reception, a reunion, could be baby showers. I mean, we get a little bit of everything. We learned the hard way last year that we can't do unstaffed rentals. At one point last year, we were, I didn't have anybody to cover these rentals in the off season. And so it was like, I might come in and open the door for them at 9 o'clock in the morning or whatever time their rental was starting and say, okay, when you're done, turn off the lights, shut the door. It's already locked, just shut it. And I had, for example, last fall, I had 2 rentals that just simply left with the door wide open, the lights on. And one of those 2, I was in Maine at the time. And so and they came back like an hour later, must have realized it or whatever. But I'm like, I was going to have to call the police to go secure the building, And then we had the other rule we always have there is, the basement is off limits. There's nothing down there but our furnace, but don't go down there. Well, I had a rental last year where for some reason the stove wasn't working, or he couldn't get the stove working in the kitchen. And I have security cameras in the basement, and the camera went off, and which goes to my phone. And so I kind of yelled at the guy, "What are you doing?" Because I can do that. and he's like, "Oh, well, the stove isn't working, and I work in HVAC, and I thought I'd try to fix it rather than call." No, you don't touch my furnace, So we've had too many problems with that. So we like to staff them now so that we don't have those. I'd rather pay somebody to sit there and hang out in the back room and be on call in case something breaks. We had a rental earlier this fall when I did have a staff member and like the toilet handle broke or something, just little things that, hey, you can fix it, or at least call me so I know that it needs to be fixed, and so the person I had got another job that was full-time, and so he's gone. So it's a 2 to 3 days a month, it's kind of sporadic based on when we get rentals, but it's usually either a Friday night, a Saturday, or a Sunday, you know. And so we're paying $16 an hour for it. So if so anybody has some interest in kind of on call, you know, pick up a little money on the side here or there, they do have to be 18, but that's another option that I have available at this point. Details are on the town website for that, or they can call me. And that's all I got.
You missed one thing.
Yes.
Holiday happenings.
Yes. Holiday happen. Oh yeah, I did. So holiday happenings is Sunday, December 3rd. It's so far it's the same traditions as we've done in recent years. So the annual holiday parade will kick off at 3 p.m. from the Tractor Supply parking lot. Travels down here to Town Hall. And then basically as soon as Santa and Mrs. Claus arrive at Town Hall, we go to Abbey Griffin Park and we start the tree lighting ceremony. Once we get by the Halloween party next week, I will officially be putting that out in registration of floats and all that. And that's one of the other things we have to think about is I'm trying to figure out what new to add to that event this year. Because again, there should always be something new and different and better. And so I'm trying to jazz up our events a little bit because, you know, while we get 1,000 people to show up, I feel like there's room for improvement always. So, and I don't know what that looks like just yet. So, but basically it runs to about, the tree lighting ends usually about 4:30 p.m. So more details to follow in a couple of weeks.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions or comments before we move on?
Matt, I just have a thought, and I don't know if this would even be possible, but I know young kids really like the Polar Express. Is there any way you could show like the Polar Express at like, I don't know, maybe the high school gym or something,
Maybe.
or high school caf, and serve like hot chocolate or something?
Maybe.
That might be a good way after.
Yeah.
Once like the tree lighting is over, that might be something the kids would really like, and they could wear like their pajamas or something.
Okay.
Just a thought. I don't know.
Yeah. Not a bad thought. I have to think about it. I could certainly do it at my hall because I have the equipment already. But will people come from the tree lighting to go? You know, that's the question. Or whether we just do it as a separate event, we could do that too. So I have to
But-
think about that.
Not limited to kids and the adults
Kids
should
and
not
kids
be
at heart.
limited to not being able to wear pajamas.
Right.
Just have a pajama parade.
We could have a real float, you know, and just all of us just dressed in our pajamas.
Maybe that's our theme for the parade this year. Polar Express.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or hot chocolate somehow. I don't know how, but who doesn't love hot chocolate?
Yeah. We did a race one year. One of our winter races during COVID.
Oh yeah.
We did a winter running race in Wasserman Park, and it was the
one
hot
where you had
chocolate
the 3
2K,
different ones,
and
yeah.
it was a 2K race through the park, and then we did a 2K, a 4K, and a 6K that series. And one of the other ones was s'mores. S'mores was a 4K,
And
then we
chili.
did a chili for a 6K one year. So, but yeah, okay.
Any other ideas? I don't know if you could beat Polar Express, so. All right. Moving on to organization reports. Rick, you want to start us off with MYA?
Certainly. We are in season with the sports of football and cheerleading. Baseball and softball are about to wrap up, as Matt alluded to earlier. And registration is currently open for our wrestling program. And will open for lacrosse on November 1st. And of course, thank you to the Department of Public Works for keeping our fields and playing areas in good condition.
And just one more plug. If you know of any fields that are open, please let us know. Matt?
Rick, I don't know if you know this off the top of your head. I haven't been over there, but how has Gibson held up with football over there?
I was coincidentally over there about 2 weeks ago, and it looked fine, and I actually walked on it.
Okay.
So that's good, but it was dusk, so I'm not sure I saw everything either.
I haven't had a chance to look, but I know that was one of Public Works' concerns initially,
Yeah.
you know, so that, you know, or that baseball would come in next spring and go, you know.
Right. Well, we made sure that baseball was completely aware of what
Yeah.
was going on, and,
Yeah.
and he's comfortable with it, their
Alright,
director, because younger children use that area, and and don't often hit the ball that far into the middle of the field. So at the time, it seems to be working, but yeah, I get your concern as well. I agree. We'd hate to ruin that field.
Right.
But hopefully that'll be fine.
Okay.
And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Quick question for Rick, basketball, when does that start?
Well,
later?
there are practices are
They're
going to
already
begin
going.
early November, yeah,
Okay,
or
okay.
or just about beginning.
So that is
And I believe games are
started.
early December. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You got all you need.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good.
I think so.
All right.
Well, I have one more question.
Okay.
Pickleball, where is that? Is it in with the tennis courts now? Not the original board there that was gonna be?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we had 8 of the tennis courts lined with a different
Okay,
color of
I did see
pickleball
it.
lines, and then we have portable nets that you can
Perfect.
drag into place.
Good,
And
that's good to know.
on any given day,
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
30 or 40 people there most mornings.
Yeah, that's great.
7 days a week, and we're experimenting right now with the idea of winter indoors in the function hall.
Ooh,
I've been told they make a specific indoor ball
Cool.
that will still bounce. It won't be perfect, but it will still work with the carpet. So I'm waiting for. There's an instructor that we work with that teaches the class that was teaching the classes this summer. We're waiting for his availability to tell us when he can. We want to try it once, but then the other one of our ideas too is to potentially make Monday through Friday mornings available. Like come rent the indoor pickleball court as
Oh,
an
nice.
option.
nice.
And so we'll see, because we're already there during the day, and so it wouldn't require it's other than
Yeah.
we bought this. I bought I got actually from Amazon. It's basically preset lines. You just drag it out into place. It's like a heavy rubber,
Cool.
and it's the perfect frame, and so you just need to bring in the net and the ball, and so like I said, I haven't tried playing yet on the carpet, but supposedly it works. So
I think that'd be popular.
yeah.
One of these days, I'm gonna have to check out pickleball. All right, Maureen, your turn.
Well, hello, everybody. As you know, the seniors are having their fair for October. We realize there's 2 more other fairs going on in the town. So everyone's going to be spread thin, but please come to the seniors. Everyone's working hard. I've made about 10 pies already, and we have lots of goodies. We're having pulled pork sandwiches. We're having chowder from Lobster Boat. One person, I think, is making turkey soup. One person's making taco salad. Taco was a soup, really, and it should be fun. We have no antiques anymore, just the people, and but we're having a couple of vendors. We're trying that. We have 4 vendors, so we'll see how that works, and plenty of raffle baskets. So please come 9 to 3, John O'Leary Center, and we'll come with money.
What date? What date?
Saturday.
Oh, this Saturday.
That's what I said. Saturday at the
Oh,
beginning.
I missed that part. So October 21st.
Okay.
Got it.
It's here. No, it's not here. It's over across the street.
Maureen, was one of the other events in town the police department event?
No,
Okay, 'cause
That's
they postponed it.
that's
That's what I was
another
just
one.
gonna say is
No, it's,
VFW.
yeah. There's a craft show or something at the VFW, and they also.
I'm not announcing it. No, the VFW and St. James.
oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say the police department had changed their event,
And-
so
Yeah, in the Dome in Milford, huge one. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be scary because there's a lot of stuff to go to. So, and I have to work, so I can't go to any of them.
Maureen, who are your vendors? Do you know?
I'm not in charge of vendors. I'm in charge of the big table.
It's a mystery.
you have to show up to find out.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Naomi, school board?
I don't have a ton. School board is doing budget too, or just the very preliminary beginning stages of budget. So that'll be what we're focusing on for the next couple of months. As I mentioned, the planning and building committee met and discussed the master plan that we've been working on and like where everything's going to go in that high school area. And the school board also talked about it, and we decided that it's actually probably better to put our new administration building closer to the high school, so it's going to be on the site of the old Brentwood building, that red building that got torn down, provided that we're like still in the very beginning stages, provided that we get a good, we're working on plans and how much is this going to cost, and we all know how it goes. So so hopefully the skate park can stay where it is. And then there's no school. There's a early release day on November 9th, which is a Thursday, and there's no school on November 10th for Veterans Day, because Veterans Day is that Saturday.
Okay. Thank you. Matthew, you ready for a student rep? Thank you.
So first off, on Sunday the 8th, the Merrimack High School Marching Band participated in the Salem Band Show. It was a lot of fun. Very good, I think. And then just an update on our varsity records. So the boys varsity football is now 3-4. Girls varsity field hockey is 2-13-1. Volleyball is 5-11. Soccer, the girls varsity soccer is 4-10-2. Boys soccer is 3-12, and golf is 4-22. PSATs were held on October 14th in the language wing of the high school. And then the Activism and Civic Engagement Club hosted a fundraising bake sale for St. Jude. I think it was about $90. I'll give you the list after.
Okay. Yeah, you can give me. I have a question for you. Do you by any chance know, and I'm catching you off guard, so do you have any information on the Chop Shop, the first team, how they've been doing with their robotics?
Nothing official, but I know a couple people on there, and they're very excited. They just came off of a big win last year down in Texas, so we're looking strong for this year's team.
Didn't they just go to the Governor's Robotics Club and get, I think it was second place?
I think so.
It was either second or third place. Oh, Mackenzie, I don't think you were on.
Oh, I was not on. I just said that I believe that I heard that the first robotics team, they just went to the Governor's Cup. I think it was October 6th or 7th. And that was up at, I believe it was up at Plymouth State University. And I think that they came in second place, if I'm not mistaken.
Over some pretty hefty teams from what
Yeah.
I understand. So they did very, very well.
And they had the state competition, I think the weekend before, that I got to go to and actually see what it was all about. I had never been to one. So as a town council rep, I went, and it was really cool to see the kids really engaged. They worked so hard. I think they got there, I think they said at like 6:45 in the morning, and they were there till 9 at night to clean everything up. So, and there was a lot of students in the club too. So I got to know the students, talk to them a little bit about what they do. So I think the kids are doing a great job.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that one is because we talk about sports because we're very proud of our sports teams and how hard our kids play, and I know, parents cheering them on and all the support they all get and everything, but there are so many clubs that the high school has, and the robotics team does such an amazing job, but they don't always get the accolades because they're, they don't fit in any particular category sometimes. So it's nice to see everybody. It's just there's something to do for everyone. And I just wanted to bring that out. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
I
And they'll
think,
be at Halloween next week.
Yes.
yeah,
So you come
and
see
our
the robots
robotics
there.
team is actually varsity now too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And yeah, there's a bunch of clubs. We're almost like 100 clubs.
That's fantastic.
Bunch of different things. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And they'll be there for Halloween.
They'll be there for Halloween.
So it'll be interesting to find out what they're going to make their robot do.
Maybe.
Yes. Rolling down their pumpkin. All right.
Probably chopping a pumpkin.
Yeah, right.
All right. Mackenzie for town council, please.
So town council met last week. So I have a few updates. Phil Machino has just retired from the Merrimack Public Works Division after 39 years. So normally the town will provide him with a rocking chair, but instead he asked that the funds be donated to the St. James Community Food Pantry. So we will be doing that in his honor. So we thank him for all that he's done for this town. My next update is Town Councilor Barbara Healy. Currently serves on the Heritage Commission as well as the Planning Board. She will be stepping down from the Heritage Commission to allow space for a new member to join. So that will be happening. At the town council meeting, the town council got a presentation from our community development director, Rob Price, on the workforce housing. So he pretty much talked about what it is, what it's not, and how the law works in that regard. We also approved Mike Laverne's family will be installing a memorial bench site. That will be by the trail at the Wildcat Falls. So we approved that and we're very excited. That will be in honor of Mike Laverne, who passed away in 2012. And then my last update is on Saturday, November 4th, the police department from 10 to 1 will host their open house. That got rescheduled. I think it was supposed to be this Saturday, and due to the rain expected, they have rescheduled that again, and that is Saturday, November 4th from 10 to 1.
All right, fantastic. That's quite a list. All right, do we have any comments from the public? No. We have to ask. Any other comments or questions or input from our committee? No? Okay. So our next meeting is scheduled for November 15th. And you'll have the agendas long before than when I do them because Laura's taking care of the agenda this time. So everyone,
You meant
watch
the
for
minutes.
I'm just going home.
No, everybody give me their notes, please.
All right. Do we have a motion here to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Thank you, Matthew. And anyone second?
Second.
Either one of us.
Josh? Okay. All right. And all in favor?
Look at that. Oh my God.
Okay. And adjourn is 7:55. Sort of, kind of.